There's a very important story when it comes to the Jordanian pilot that was recently killed in Syria, and that is the fact that the United States government and U.S. allies are actually financing ISIS. Now, you might ask yourself, why is ISIS being supported by the United States? Its vehement enemy. Why do we hear such propaganda on the TV about how horrible ISIS is and how horrible Islamic terrorism is and how we need to fight them? Well, we're going to answer that in this question. Now, of course, I just made a claim. I just said the U.S. government is financing ISIS. We have covered this in depth on our YouTube channel, where we're going to give you another source here from the Tribune. Starting revelation, ISIS operative confesses to getting funds via the U.S. Yes, this is a breaking news story that everyone should know, but of course you will not hear about it in the mainstream media. Yusuf al-Safafi, he's the Pakistani commander of ISIS, or Daesh, or ISIL, whatever term the media or government has to confuse you. Let's just say ISIS from now on. But he has been caught, and he has admitted that he is getting most of his financing from the United States. He gets about $600 for every soldier he recruits from Pakistan to go fight in Syria. He was fighting in Syria. He went across into Turkey. He was caught in Turkey and then escaped because many people, including the person who was a part of the French bombings, the French terrorist attacks, the French shootings, also escaped through Turkey, because Turkey is allowing, as we reported from people on the ground in Turkey and Syria that we did investigations from, Turkey is allowing easy passage for ISIS terrorists to easily get into Syria to fight against Assad, our real enemy in the region. ISIS is not our enemy, Assad is, and that's why we are financing him. Breaking news story, ISIS member is admitting to being financed by the United States. Of course, the United States is denying this, but of course, even the Iraqi military is finding weapons and communication devices that are made by the United States, by Israel. And the story goes on and on. Secret U.S. training facility in Jordan that the CIA runs that has fighters going into Syria, going after Assad. Assad is the real enemy. If you want more details about this, go on our YouTube channel, click on ISIS in the search box, and you will find more detailed videos of how the United States is financing ISIS and is creating them. Now, why would the United States create such a horrible, horrendous, demonic, evil group? Well, let's talk about this. Number one, the government is using the Hegelian dialect of problem, reaction, solution. ISIS is the problem. The reaction is us going to President Obama, going to the government, and asking them for a solution. And their solution is more power, more control, and more unquestionable obedience to their rules and their new rules that they're setting up. Now, of course, the White House is disclosing that they're going to make more restraints, new laws when it comes to the NSA spying to appease the people. Obviously, the NSA spying program is out of control, and as we interviewed many experts, many ex-NSA whistleblowers, and also the lawyers of Edward Snowden, we're finding out that the NSA is spying on everything, and they're not filtering anything. They're not looking for specific topics. They want all the information. That's what they're doing right now, and that's why they haven't been able to prevent a terrorist attack. That's why they haven't been able to prevent a mass shooting. All these mass shootings and all these terrorist attacks work in their favor, because once they have that problem, you and people, if you look on Twitter, people are saying, look at Obama, he is not doing anything against ISIS. We need to do everything we can to stop them about ISIS. He has proposed these new rules and regulations to say, no, we'll be fair, we'll be transparent, we'll be accountable, and of course, there are limited restraints. There's barely any real changes done to the NSA spying program, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a great organization, did a review on it and said he has a failing grade, that he actually made no significant differences at all, even though he promised to make significant differences, and he's continuing the same horrendous policies that are just meant to spy on you. Now, why are they spying on you? Why do they want to know every little detail about you? Why are they worried about finding everything they can and having every little thing about you? Because it's about power, it's about shutting down dissent, and it's not really about stopping terrorism, because if it was about stopping terrorism, it would be directed spying. They would be directing their spying and looking at key information and sorting it. They're not sorting it, they're just collecting all of it so they could use it for later. Now, there's a report that came out a few years ago called the MIAC report. The MIAC report was orchestrated by the Department of Homeland Security. It came out on March 13th, 2009, and if you look at the MIAC report, it's a report orchestrated by Homeland Security and local law enforcement agencies that say that anybody who believes in freedom, anyone who believes in privacy, in the Constitution, in liberty, is a domestic terrorist. They said if you watch movies like Zeitgeist and America Freedom to Fascism, you are a possible domestic terrorist, and law enforcement needs to be notified of the possible terrorists who believe in freedom, who believe in the Constitution, who believe in the rule of law, which Obama is breaking, including the Fourth Amendment. And that's why the former NSA and CIA director says we could do whatever we want with the Constitution, because the Constitution is the only thing standing in their way from getting total power and creating a dictatorship in this country. And he's openly saying that I get to interpret the Constitution. Because of 9/11, because of ISIS, because of all these terrorist attacks, we need to fight terrorism, and we need to get rid of your freedom to protect you. And people are playing along with that, and the reaction from this recent horrible, horrendous video of this Jordanian pilot being burned alive is the perfect excuse, and that's why they're talking about it in graphic detail in all of the mainstream media, and they're making this their main central talking point so they could justify the power grab that the government is having. Now, there's also the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is an organization that labeled me and other reporters and journalists and activists as domestic terrorists, equating us with hate groups. They actually listed WeAreChange members all throughout the country, WeAreChange organizations all throughout the country, and they knew more of them than I did. And they reached public reports, work with the FBI that has interrogated me personally many freaking times, to go after dissent. That's exactly what they're doing. Just, what was it, 2 years ago? This is what happened to me.
Last night, we heard from dozens of protesters and independent journalists about raids and traffic stops taking place across the city. Now, that kind of allegation is hard for us to confirm unless or until we see the kind of video that came into us from around 2 this morning.
We're being raided right now. For those that are watching, we are being raided by the CPD as we speak. What is this for, officer? What is this for?
Just so you know, I almost got shot in that instant because I took out a phone and was filming video that was later deleted by Homeland Security and the Chicago Police Department when we were covering the NATO protests, and we had a gun put to our freaking heads and to our faces for reporting about what's happening. Now, I let go of my activist days. I'm straight a reporter. I'm here to report and inform people about what's really important in this world. Homeland Security and the Chicago Police Department conducted a raid where they, a couple hours before this, detained my friend and interrogated him about me. There was police radio chatter about them looking for us again to terrify us and to scare us. And that's exactly what's happening. Who else is on this terrorist watch list? Other activists, anonymous members, hacktivists, like Jeremy Hammond. Jeremy Hammond, who was a part of LOSEC, an organization loosely, anonymous is just an idea, but it came from the anonymous idea, that was entrapped by the FBI. He was more of an activist working on hacking. The FBI actually orchestrated a lot of the hacks that Jeremy Hammond was not aware of, and they actually put him in jail. And they revealed right now that he's on the terrorism watch list. So who is the real enemy, and what is the government trying to do with all these new laws that Obama's trying to pass? Because he's trying to pass a new internet law that lets them pretty much have control of virtually anything and be able to put you in jail for even sharing information that they deemed important, that they deem classified, that they deem a security threat. We saw Canada just do that a few days ago. Now Canada has the ultimate authority to take away anything from the internet if it's a security threat. And what do people view as a security threat? What do people in power view as a security threat? Any form of accountability, any form of criticism, any form of activism that goes against them. So this is why ISIS is being funded by the United States. This is why ISIS is getting help from Israel. That's why there's secret training programs in Jordan. That's why Turkey's helping them out. That's why Saudi Arabia is financing them. That's why there's people in Pakistan that were a part of ISIS that are getting $600 from the United States to send soldiers into Syria. That's why their airstrikes are ineffective. And this is what Kurdish rebels that are actually fighting ISIS are saying. There's a whole game here being played that you need to understand, because it's a problem, reaction, solution dialect that's playing into the hands of the very few. And unless most of us wake up, they're going to get their way, they're going to get their laws, they're going to get their powers, and they're going to get their obedience. We have to start questioning authority. There's many people out there who don't know that ISIS is a direct creation of U.S. foreign policy and U.S. funding. Share this video with them so that they'll get fooled and tricked into this paradigm that the elite are playing with you right now. If you find this video helpful, click the like button, share it with your friends, get the information out there. Don't be played for a fool. Don't forget to also subscribe to this channel. We're going to have a lot more videos breaking down what's really happening in this world right here on youtube.com/WeAreChange.